Hello, my beautiful friends, my name is Khoreva and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you don't know who I am, I'm a ballet dancer at the Mariinsky Theatre and I am thrilled to discuss today's topic with you. We are going to be reacting to the most common ballerina problems suggested actually by you. I did a poll on Instagram and you suggested your most common and most, relatable and most burning ballerina problems, and while I was reading your suggestions, I was relating so much, so I'm really excited to dig in and maybe give my experience, my tips and tricks to, keep up with the struggle and not struggle as much, not suffer as much, because of course, even though ballet is a beautiful thing and I love it with my whole heart, of course, we have many problems and many things we need to deal with during our everyday life as ballet dancers. So without the further ado, let's dive in. So I have a list of the ballerina problems here on my phone. The first problem, probably one of the most burning ones, is bad balance turning days. I personally was struggling with it the most during the Vaganova days, I think. Because, I don't know, for some reason at school, you are pushing yourself to be good in class every day, obviously, and you're not as experienced yet to realize that it's more important to think about the progress you make every day rather than, every class being perfect. And especially the thing with it, the most problematic thing, of course, is to get yourself to a lucky balance or turning day during the exam day, of course. But for this, I think, of course, it's luck. Of course, it's just things happen with your body that affect your balance or turning. Of course, it's so many areas of your body are inside this process when you're turning or balancing, and not all of them we can control. Of course, it's our brain, our spine, all of the systems of the body. But for me personally, I think that what helps is doing a very slow and less muscle intensive ballet class. So for example, just taking it a little bit, lowering the difficulty level and just focusing on the turnout and focusing on the strength of the abs, and really, keeping in mind that you need to be as clean as possible, following all of the positions, maybe not as expressive during the class, right? But following all of the rules of the method, the Vaganova method that I was trained in. And for me, this was really helping, focusing on class, focusing on really doing the plie, really doing all of the positions, and really feeling all of the muscles. And that way, of course, my balance could still be bad, my turning could still be bad. It's day to day, it always changes. But that way, at least I feel the control of my muscles. And that's what I think is, at the end of the day, it's what's most important. Because for the performance, you don't necessarily want to do triple, quadruple pirouettes every day. It's the stability and also the expressiveness that matters, but you can only add up the expressiveness after you are sure in your stability. So for me, it has always been the good, proper, slow class. Alright, let's move on. The second one is so relatable. Spending long time sewing point shoes, but it dies instantly. I've been there so many times. That's why right now I'm so into planning my point shoes way ahead of time. So for example, I'll make a couple of new pairs and I'll try them right away, and I keep my point shoe notes in my diary, because every pair of point shoes is different. For example, I wear Block Serenade Strong and they're my favorite point shoes ever. But every pair, because they're all handmade, every pair is slightly different. And that's why I need to, have at least 4-5 new pairs before a show that I need to try to rehearse in, and to make sure that it doesn't die, that it's very comfortable. And in order for the shoes not to die so fast, I use the shellac, and I also use hot glue. So I have a whole video on how I make my pointe shoes, and I also address some issues with like longevity of pointe shoes on my channel, so I link this in the description below or in the info box somewhere, so that you can check it out and maybe it helps some of the tips. But yeah, I like legit keep the diary, I legit do the notes, and actually just yesterday, today, before the class, I was trying my 4 pointe shoes for the upcoming show of Repetitor and the Mariinsky in a week, and I made all of the notes. And because also for the shows at the Mariinsky, for the shows like Balerina, we need to paint the shoes, and it's like, you know, poof, all of the like brainstorming stuff. But yeah, shellac and hot glue, and also planning way ahead. All right. The next one, daily pain, LMAO, daily pain. Yeah, this is one of the more difficult and more complex ballerina problems. Of course, like we are all used to laugh about it and like joke about it, but at the same time, especially now, recovering from an injury, from a meningeal injury, I realized how much of an impact the physical load of ballet makes in our bodies. And it's really not a joke. Like, ballet load is not a joke, and of course, in my opinion, it will always be associated with the pain, some sort of pain, whether it be blisters or like muscle pain or like tendinitis or stuff, or just, you know, feet cramping inside the pointe shoe, or just, I don't know, your back, your neck, because all of the different repertoire and different roles at the theater, or even like rehearsing at the academy at school. And yeah, the thing that a ballet dancer needs to learn is to manage, tolerate the pain, and differentiate the pain from like dangerous pain and the pain that can be tolerable. There are a couple of solutions for that. Like, first one is of course always warming up, and I'm planning to film another warm-up routine, updated routine video for this channel, hopefully soon. The incorporating some of the Pilates moves into my routine, really slow, really working on every joint of my body before I go into some heavier warm-up stuff like cardio and abs and stuff, has been really helping to feel less pain, less muscle pain, and warm-up can do miracles. So I would really not underestimate the importance of warm-up. And like, for example, I spend around an hour every day preparing for my ballet class in the morning, and I also warm up for at least half an hour after the class before I continue into my rehearsals. So that has been helping a lot for me. And also the other solution is to always stay in touch with the professionals in this area, like for example with doctors, with older, more experienced dancers, and really trying to, you know, share your experience and trying to build up your knowledge about your body. This is like, because obviously, so we shouldn't be doing anything through the extreme pain, but like there's more to the pain that we know, and there are specialists that can tell you more about your pain, and you should be always checking up. But also we need to be mentally really prepared to tolerate the pain, and sometimes not to think about it, because of course it will happen. It's kind of getting serious and dark a little bit, but like, yeah, I think the body gets used to it really nicely over the years of doing ballet, so I think it's not such a big deal anyway. All right, Then we have ankle injuries and tendinitis. So again, it's concerning the pain stuff. Yeah, I think like ankle injuries, especially for female ballet dancers, is such a common thing because pointe shoes. Have you seen like pointe shoes? Yeah, it's mad how our body gets used to such unusual positions, but somehow it keeps working like that. I don't know how. I don't know how it's so genius. But yeah, ankle injuries, I think it all comes to the strength of your ankle and to how proper you use your biomechanics system of like moving. So what has been helping me personally is really analyzing the right way to move anatomy-wise. So for example, for ankles, really feeling the heels during the jumps, really feeling the floor with my feet, and really trying to do again pliés, always plier, always nice. Working on the technique of my plié has been a huge help because of course you can do all of these exercises with the elastic bands, but at the end of the day it comes to the ballet class and ballet rehearsals, how you use your body facilities during the ballet load. So I think it's more so we should think about how we use our ankles. But of course this happens and it's really, really unpleasant, but I don't know. I'm always trying to think how I can protect myself from getting injured, but I think injuries still happen, but we should take it lighter, I guess. Injuries are just injuries, they're gonna pass away. So that's my note to self today. Okay, so the next one is bones popping throughout random times of the day. Yes, this is not actually random for me. For me, it's like in the morning and like in the evening after you are done with the rehearsals and for example, you are lying down somewhere and I mean at home and bones pop out of nowhere. Yeah, it's weird, but it's the thing that people in ballet community are really used to, and there are so many really funny TikToks and videos on that topic. Like for example, my hips pop all of the time, my feet, and that's really funny because my sister, she's also at the Mariinsky, and we keep joking about it. And for example, when the Mariinsky company comes to the class in the morning, first couple of exercises at the bar, like warm up and plie, the class is full of bone cracking and bone popping because it's normal as long as it's not painful. My doctor tells that it's normal, so it's just one thing to make fun of, I guess. The next one is toenails and just feet problems in general from pointe shoes. Yeah, this is really upsetting because if you are really long in pointe shoes, especially at school, when the feet are not so used to pointe shoes yet, and if you change the model of your pointe shoe, if you change your pointe shoe inserts, all of the stuff can happen. But the thing that I realized now is that you make an adjustment and then the body needs to take time to get used to it. So for example, I don't know, maybe I'm not rehearsing enough now, but I used to be getting many blisters and I used to be getting deformed toenails, but now I get so much less of it for some reason. Maybe it's because my feet are more used to my pointe shoes, more used to my way of working, and maybe I think even warm-up is also playing a role in this process in getting less blisters and less toe problems in pointe shoes. So the hacks that I have been using is always to put the band-aid on the place prone to, little injuries, blisters and stuff beforehand. So I always every day put 2 pieces of band-aid on my pinky toes. I don't know how to say it correctly in English, sorry. Yeah. And also these gel squares that are called second skin. Probably I can insert some pictures of them somewhere here. I've been buying them, and if I have a very bad blister, only they help, only they can help. And also the liquid spray, the liquid, like almost liquid band-aid it's called. And it's like gluing, like liquid glue for the cut. It is also really nice for the blisters for me. But toenails problems, I'm not so much familiar with the toenails problems, but my sister is because she's wearing the Gainer Minden pointe shoes and I'm wearing the block, and there are different pointe shoes that are affecting our toenails differently. But I think if you get a lot of problems with the toenails, it's worth trying another model, or it's worth trying to adjust the inserts. For example, I wear the Perfect Fit pointe shoe inserts, and they're these moldable for your personal feet inserts, and ever since I started using them, it's been a game changer, because I started getting less blisters and I started getting less pain on my toes, because they are diminishing the pressure on each individual toe. So yeah, nowadays the technologies are so advanced. For example, in the past they didn't use any inserts. The ballerinas of Khoreva ballet, they used these very ugly, I'm sorry, but they were ugly pointe shoes made by the theater. And nowadays the pointe shoes are so advanced, the technology is blooming really in ballet world. So I think we should be able to find something that fits every single person. Okay, moving on. Alright, this is funny and so relatable. Being able to dance all day but getting tired after running 30 minutes. Yes, it's literally me. And for example, when I was skipping due to my injury, I could, because I'm getting my master's degree in methodology at Vaganova Academy, I could sit through like 5 hours of lectures at the academy and I was absolutely alright. But now, if you try to, after trying to get into the ballet load once again and into dancing, even after doing ballet class, if you make me sit for like even 2 hours, I'd be dying till the end, because I don't know, something happens with my body when I start doing the physical activity, the ballet activity, and it changes it completely. It changes the way it behaves. And it's not only like with running, but for me it's with sitting. For me it's with standing. I cannot even stand like for half an hour because my legs start hurting, my back start hurting. And I don't know, it's, for me personally, ballet people are just different. Our ballet body requires a very particular and different care. And if we take a little bit of time to rest after ballet class, after a rehearsal, then we would be able to run, we would be able to stand and sit. But it's just to maximize the productive efforts in ballet field. We need to just work and lie down, so we need to work and rest, work and rest, work and rest. And that's the problem of it, but at the same time, that's again the problem of discovering the abilities of our bodies, and it's very individual for every artist. But yeah, like doing other physical activities, being able to run a show, but like not being able to do many squats or not being able to do like proper cardio, that's super relatable. Because our body gets, really kind of overused in turnout, in ballet extensions, and in ballet activity. And when we start doing something else, it starts hurting because some muscles haven't been used and some muscles have been used too much. So it's like this disbalance that maybe is throwing things off in our body. Anyway, let's keep going. And the next problem we have is body dysmorphia and eating. And this is again a very serious topic because compared to the elite sports, which I consider ballet really comparable to elite sport, the workloads are, it's scientifically proven, the workloads are as big as the workloads of elite sportsmen. I have even come across the scientific, the article in a scientific magazine that was proving it. And elite sportsmen, they have their eating plans. They have their calorie plans, protein, carbs, and fats, and they have specialist nutritiologists that manage them. But in ballet, we don't have such things. And it's really bad, but I hope that world, moves towards the solution in this area. Ballet is really complicated because especially female dancers, obviously we need to stay kind of on the thinner side, in my opinion. We need to try to stay long with our limbs and try to embody the elegance. Of course, the understanding of elegance is very individual for everyone, but we need to find the way to support our body and our recovery from the workloads with the proper amount of healthy food, the proper scientifically researched amount of nutrients, and also connected to the way we should look on stage. So hopefully I'll be able to discover more in this area, and hopefully the world will also discover more. But right now, I think, for me personally, I've been trying to eat more protein, and because protein supports all of the joints, it supports all of the processes in our body. But yeah, again, contacting a specialist and hoping for the best, really knowing our bodies. All right, the next problem is organizing life with dance. Impossible? Kinda really not possible. At our theater, we get the rehearsal schedule for the next day at 6 p.m. this day. So it's really impossible to plan anything else apart from the dance. But at the same time, even if I had my rehearsal schedule planned a few days ahead, again, I think I wouldn't even want sometimes to organize my life separately from dance, because basically our lives are concentrated around our roles that we are preparing, and we're almost living inside another world, inside the world of the theater, if you know what I mean, like preparing the role, preparing the performance, living in India, in Egypt, in France somewhere, and really concentrating on that. And as I've already said, it's working and resting and managing the physical loads and stuff. So, but at the same time, it's also trying to build up the character constantly. So for some people, it's not even needed to organize life elsewhere, because, for example, they find their love inside the company, their partners, and they create families, not inside the theater obviously, but like the ballet couples are quite common. And then I admire the people, the ballerinas who have children so much. For example, our prima ballerina Lesa Novikova, she came out from, and she's dancing already now, after having the 4th child. She is a true hero of ballet world. Like, I bow in front of her, and she has my immense respect. But the other thing is, like, at the same time, if you don't have life outside of dance, outside of ballet, you cannot really dance and portray the characters as nicely, because you need to have this artistic experience, you need to have this life experience, you need to have the imagination. It doesn't only just come from the books and movies and stuff you watch, but it comes from the life experience, obviously. So I don't know the solution yet to this problem, but I guess we just have to balance and manage. That's it. Alright, the next one is the teacher keeps teaching even after rehearsal finished, but I'm too scared to say it's time to go home. Alright. Haven't we all been there? Like, tell me honestly, we've been there, and even the most hardworking students, we've been in this situation, and this is really relatable. Because again, managing the workload, and for example, you start rehearsal really pumping, you start spending all of your strength, you start spending everything, and you think that this rehearsal will only, last for 1.5 hours. But then it ends up being 3 hours, and you realize that if you rehearse today for 3 hours, then you will be dead tomorrow, and you planned to do really nice rehearsals tomorrow as well, and you have like a show after tomorrow. So again, your individual personal planning can clash with the planning of the teacher, but I think, sometimes there are just times when we have to continue with the plan of the teacher, especially like at school. For example, at Vaganova Academy, our amazing teacher, Lyudmila Kovaleva, she used to always use the extra time to teach, and I'm so grateful to her for doing that for us, because it was so useful. But yeah, again, it comes to the personal feeling at this situation. I think it's not a big deal to tell the teacher that something's hurting, to tell the teacher that you are out of your strength. And it's this building the communication between you and teacher, it's really important in my opinion, because if the teacher knows you as a very hard-working student, then she or he would probably realize that you're really tired and you would rather just think about it. But yeah, the communication, I guess. Oh, the next one is interesting. Should I keep my perfect pointe shoes for the rehearsal, or should I wear them for the class? And I'll be on my leg in class, but then they are going to be too soft for the rehearsals. This one is deeper than it sounds, because obviously you need to feel nice during the class, right? You need to train your body during class. But also, obviously, you need to have the most perfect of all the perfect pointe shoes for the performance. For me, it always worked like this, to wear less of a perfect pointe shoes for the rehearsal, like even sacrificing being on my leg and trying to work around the less perfect pointe shoes, but then saving the nicer ones for stage. I don't know. The next one is doing the bond with short hair. I have been having the short hair for quite a while now. They don't grow for some reason. but let me tell you the secret. I don't do a bun for the classes and rehearsals. I just stay like this, and it's really comfortable for me. But I guess at school, you cannot really go like this with the ponytail. So I have this for stage. I have this little piece of hair that I took from the theater that I use to imitate the bun. I use as my artificial bun. So I think you can probably find something like this in the accessories shop and try to imitate the bun when you have short hair. But I think it's quite easy actually, like using a lot of pins, and I had even shorter hair and it was okay. And of course the ultimate inspiration for all of us dancers with the short hair is the legendary Sylvie Guillem. She used to have really short bob and it was legendary. So yeah, ballerinas sometimes they really, and of course Uliana Lopatkina as well, she had pixie, like the shortest haircut. Ballerinas love short hair at some parts of their lives, and it's really refreshing to have short hair, so I don't regret my decision at all. But now I'm growing them back in order to hopefully dance Giselle in the future, and for Giselle we need longer hair. Alright. Doing good turns for practice, then not being able to do good in the exercises in front of the class. That's one of the biggest psychological problems. And I think if you have friendly environment in your class and if you have nice relationships with your teacher, then everyone realizes that it's just work in progress. And it's more so to not do the perfect turns in front of the class, but to do the perfect turns on stage, which is much more difficult for me. But on stage, if we add artistry, if we do with our heart, somehow the turns work every time. And if I stay nervous, if I stay scared of the turn, sometimes it doesn't work. So I guess for dance we just have to keep dancing and keep embracing the role, and that way everything should work. But in front of the class, of course it won't work because of the nerves, but everyone around, I assure you, everyone around understands that we are all human, we are not robots, and some things might not work. And we've come to the last one, the stamina. Literally so hard to keep going through the performance. That's my problem, that's my thing. It's not only hard to go through the performance, but when I get tired, it's really hard to keep the concentration and keep all of the emotions and keep the same extensions, lines, the same strength, the same power. And it's a bummer for me because I always want to not only look good on stage, but portray the character, to really show the emotions, to feel the emotions. And I think for the stamina, it's surprising even for me, but the artistic flow comes to the rescue. So whenever we don't think about the perfect jumps, the perfect pirouettes, like how tired I am to do this jump, how tired I am, I'm so tired, I'm not going to be able to do the fouettes and stuff. As long as we keep thinking that, it's always going to bug us. But whenever we enter the stage feeling like the fouette is the highest point of the pas de deux, it's the joy that we are going to express, like listening to the music and really feeling it, really feeling the joy of the character, feeling that it's gonna be so energetic. And not only for fouettes, but for any of the hard variations. If it's possible to immerse into the character, into the story, then everything is so much easier. And everything is not only easier, but it comes out much better technically for some reason. I don't know, we are lucky. So it's, I guess, motivation that we get from being the character on stage. But other than that, the materialistic approach to that is really running a lot during the rehearsals. But even if we run during the rehearsals on stage, it's like always feels like in the rehearsals it's like 60% and on stage you're tired 100%. So we cannot do anything about that, and only feeling that you are dancing and expressing your soul can save us, I feel, in my opinion. So with this positive note, I think this video has come to an end. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments and let me know if you like this type of video. Maybe I continue making it. And it's been fun. Thank you so much, guys, for your suggestions. Leave also your suggestions on the other videos you want me to make. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching it. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already to not miss out the new ballet content. And as always, love you guys so much. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next videos. Bye bye.